Hello and welcome to today's economic lesson on Easy-Peasy Learning 101. You probably ask yourself why countries should trade with each other. That is a very good question and we hope to clear that up. Or you just heard about the Ricardian Model and you want to know what it is. Enjoy the video. There are several reasons for countries to trade with each other. First of all, the price of a good goes down when it's produced in higher quantities. That is called mass production. Furthermore, we have to consider that in different countries there is a difference in climate, labor, and technology, which has a crucial influence on the price and production of goods. It will be easier to understand if we take a look at an example. Let's take two countries which are specialized on specific goods. Our first country is Germany, which produces cars, and the other country is the USA, which produces mobile phones. We assume that Germany needs 20 hours to produce 1 unit of cars and 10 hours per unit of mobile phones. The USA, on the other hand, needs 30 hours to produce 1 unit of cars and 5 hours to produce 1 unit of mobile phones. So we can see that Germany is able to produce the same amount of cars in a shorter time, and the USA needs, in comparison to Germany, less time to produce a unit of phones. In conclusion, we can say that both countries have the absolute advantage on a specific good. Absolute advantage is the ability of a country, individual, company, or region to produce a good or a service at a lower cost per unit than the cost at which any other entity produces that same good or service. That is the reason why Germany and the USA in our example concentrate on producing the good where they have the absolute advantage. If we now look at the cost for each country to produce 50 units of the two goods each, we can see that both together have to invest 3,250 hours altogether. This situation can be optimized by trading. Let's see why. Now Germany produces only cars and the USA produces only mobile phones. To produce the same amount in the end, the countries have to produce 100 units of their respective products. If the countries decide to trade, they only need 2,500 hours to produce the amount which they needed 3,250 hours for earlier. With trading, the two countries can save 750 hours, which is a huge economic advantage. That is what Adam Smith found out in the late 18th century. To explain the Ricardian model, we assume that one country has the absolute advantage in producing both goods. As our example products, we look at the production of sausages instead of mobile phones. We see that Germany can produce both goods in a short amount of time per unit. Germany has the absolute advantage in both goods. Now we have to use math to determine which product each country should produce. For every good, we divide the amount of hours per unit for that good by the amount of hours per unit of the other good which the country could produce. The good with the smaller ratio is the good the country should be producing. In comparison with the other result of the country, it shows us the comparative advantage. Comparative advantage is the ability of a country to produce a good or a service at a lower opportunity cost than its competitor. To come back to our example, Germany sacrifices less to produce sausages than it would producing cars, and the USA sacrifices less to produce cars than producing sausages. In general, the opportunity cost shows us what a country sacrifices when they choose one good over another. If we now look at the individual production of this example, we have a total cost of 4,250 hours to produce 50 units of each good for each country. This situation is not optimal and can be improved if the countries trade. Germany has the comparative advantage on producing sausages and the USA on producing cars. Both countries produce only the good on which they have the comparative advantage. The cost for 100 units of the good is 3,500 hours. Now we save 750 hours, which proves that trading makes sense although a country holds the absolute advantage in both goods. That was the Ricardian model. I hope you are now able to understand the basics of international trade. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see our next videos.